Hey guys, we are back with part 2. When I originally started filming part 1, I didn't know it was going to turn into part 2 until I realized I was talking for like 20 minutes about my background story. So I apologize, but I ramble sometimes, so do apologize. We are going to be talking about my endoscopy experience, and I had an upper endoscopy is what it was called. Never had one of those before done in my entire life, and I actually want to tell you guys something that is a little, it's personal to me because it was one of my biggest fears, and that might sound dumb as heck, but I was terrified of being put to sleep. And I spent like 2 weeks stressing over nothing. So if anybody's about to have this procedure done, I just want to come on here and say you will be fine. You're going to be okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. And I know that's easier said than done, but just to comfort somebody else that might be like I was really scared. And yeah, so anyways, if you didn't watch part 1, the reason why I had an endoscopy, and I'm also going to give you guys my little diagnosis as well in this video, the reason why I had one done is because I get gastritis like flares, or almost like acid reflux is what I'm experiencing right now. But it's just, that's what I was basically dealing with. So go back and watch part 1 so you guys can kind of understand more about why I had the procedure done, but we're just going to jump right in and talk about my experience. Okay, so the day of the endoscopy came, I woke up. I was surprisingly able to sleep the night before. I don't know how, but I was able to get myself in a zen mode where I wanted to get sleep. I was also really worried about how propofol, because that's what they used to sedate me. I was also worried about how I was going to do with that. Like I said, I've never been put under before, so I just had a lot to worry about. The day came, my mom actually drove me to the hospital because you do need somebody to drive you. It is an in and out as long as everything goes well, which I promise you it will. It's nothing to be afraid of. I get to the hospital. If you haven't pre-registered and all that, you'll probably have to do that, but I did that beforehand so I didn't have to worry about it. Otis, stay here. Sorry, my dog is out here. He's about to run off after a deer in the woods because we were outside filming. I don't know if any of you guys figured, I'm sure you did, but we're outside. It's so nice out to not be outside. But, so I go back and I just wait to get called back, and they took me back to the pre-surgery room where they get everybody prepped to go for surgery. And I've been back in one of those rooms before because my husband had to have a surgery up at our local hospital before on his shoulder. So I kind of was like already back there before. But this time it was different because I was the one getting in the fancy nightgown and being hooked up to all the IVs and everything. So it was a little bit different being my turn to do all this stuff. So my anxiety was pretty high. But, and my blood pressure was up a little bit, I think, because I was a little scared. But, so they make you go in, they give you the nightgown, which, hate those nightgowns at the hospital. And they give you a cap, and, they want you to take everything off. Like, you literally have to strip butt naked, put the gown on, put your cap on, and then I had a couple nurses come in and ask me like 10,000 questions because they need to know your whole medical history before you're getting this procedure done. And somebody started my IV. They actually did it in my hand, which I thought it was going to be done in the arm, but it was done in the hand. And I am normally not a person that drinks enough water. So I always have issues with veins when I go to get an IV or blood taken or something. So the girl kind of was like, oh no, you ain't got no veins. And I'm like, oh no, like this isn't good. Like you better be finding a freaking vein, because I really didn't feel like being in pain already that morning because somebody wasn't going to be able to find a vein. But she was actually really good. The girl that did it, I have to say, she did really good. She got my vein in the hand, got me hooked up, put the saline, I guess is what they give you, so you can stay hydrated. Because you're not allowed to have anything to eat or drink after midnight. So, you know, gotta keep yourself hydrated. And after that happened, I kind of just chilled in my gown and my IV for a while until the anesthesiologist came to talk to me. And that was honestly probably the most emotional that I got during the whole thing in the hospital, just because when they have to come talk to you, they have to tell you how it is. They have to tell you, they have to scare you basically about how something could go wrong, you could die, or like this could happen, or you know, and they want to make sure you're not allergic to anything, and they basically ask you 10,000 questions again. But it's probably just safety protocol, and the guy that did it was excellent. Highly, like, everybody, I'm very lucky to say, but everybody at the hospital was very nice to me and just very organized. I felt like they had it all down pat on what they did, and they had their shit together. So like everybody was good at their job that day for my experience, and I was very happy with everything. It happened back on the 4th of October. It is now the 19th. I actually got my results today, but it's kind of hard for me to remember like every little detail now that it's been that long, because my brain isn't really that good at remembering. But so after he come and talked to me, I want to say it maybe took like 45 minutes before I got to go back to the OR. So and before I went back, I had to pee, so I had to get up with the IV bag and all that and go in the bathroom and pee, because I had to go to the bathroom. So they let me do that. It was like no big deal. I'm sure like people probably do that all the time, but I always hate being that person that feels like they're a nuisance or something, you know. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am like that. So I didn't want to go pee because I didn't want to like, but then I'm like, you know, I'm like, no, I better pee, because what about if I pee in the OR while I'm passed out, and I don't want to do that either. So I was just kind of like, hey, can I go pee? So I went to pee before the procedure, and guys, the next part of my story happened so fast. So I just want you guys, some of you guys, if you guys are like terrified, they probably will give you something beforehand. Surprisingly, I was able to stay pretty calm, even though I think my blood pressure was like 140 over something, which isn't like terrible, but it's still elevated more than what mine normally is. Like my blood pressure stays like 110 over something, so mine was elevated, probably just because I was nervous. But if you guys really need something, just ask them, and I'm sure they could probably give you something to relax you before you even go back. They didn't even tell me they were going to give me anything, and I never asked, because like I said, I was pretty calm, so I must, you know, I did okay. So they wheel me back to the OR is what happened after I used the bathroom. It was time to go. It was my turn. So I go back to the OR, and first of all, it is freezing in there. It is so freezing, but the staff was excellent. They immediately gave me a warm blanket to put over myself so I didn't get cold. And but I guess they have to keep it cold back there because of all the germs and everything. But it was weird. It was like I was being wheeled into a freezer room, and it just like, it even looked weird in the room that I went to. And then the anesthesiologist, after he comes back in, and basically he is taking over until the doctor does her thing. So he told me to lay on my left side, so I had to get up on my left side, and then he explained exactly everything that he was going to do to me, like when he was doing it. He told me that they were going to put a mouth guard in my mouth so I didn't like bite down or anything while they're doing the procedure. So they put that block guard in, and I just kind of laid on my side. He asked me if I was comfortable. I said yes, and then he explained that he was going to give me some pain medicine. which, guys, I'm assuming that this is the stuff that dopes you up and makes you feel drunk or whatever, because that's kind of what happened to me from what like the last few seconds that I remember. So I started feeling kind of like, ugh, like, but I felt good. It wasn't like I felt bad. And after he gave me that, he told me that he was going, oh, he's like, all right, you're ready for the sleepy medicine. And I'm like, okay. So I just shut my eyes, you guys, because I didn't want to leave my eyes open. That also freaked me out, because some people, just to give you guys a little story about how I am, I'm a Google fanatic, and I know that's really bad. You shouldn't do that. Don't do what I did. But before I had my procedure done, like, I spent like a week researching and watching videos of people getting put to sleep. Don't do that. I don't recommend doing that. I thought it would help me, like, be more at ease, but it honestly just made it worse for me. I saw people that got put to sleep pass out with their eyes wide open, and it looked like they just died like that. Like, no, like, don't watch that stuff, okay? So anyways, he's like, okay, so we're gonna give you the sleepy medicine, and I'm like, okay. So I shut my eyes, and I kind of think, like, the only thing that I kind of felt was a little bit like of a lightheaded feeling, and that was it. Like, I didn't feel anything else. The next thing that I remember is that I heard the anesthesiologist say, and I could just hear, because I wasn't like come to yet, but I could hear him, and he said, oh, she did really well, she did good with the anesthesia, and she's all done, and she did really well. And I remember hearing that as I was like slowly coming back to. And then I woke up, and I was in the recovery, back out where I started, basically in that little prep area of recovery. And that was it. Like, it was over so fast. And I looked at the clock. I think it maybe took them like maybe 20 minutes, but that was it. It was, and the procedure itself might not have took that long, because I don't remember the exact time, but I just remember, like, it was so fast. And the doctor come out, and she popped in, and she told me that everything looked pretty good from what she saw. She did go ahead and tell me that I did not have any stomach ulcers. So I had no ulcers. She said I had just like a little bit of irritation from stomach acid, I guess. And that was it. Then I was supposed to follow up with her, which was today, to get the actual results. And my results was some your esophagus that runs down your throat to your stomach. I had some acid irritation there, but it was so mild, she said, that she wasn't even like worried about it. And mildest gastritis that it was nothing to worry about. That's how like mild my case was. And that's what she told me today. So that was my diagnosis, guys. Like, I have some irritation in my esophagus, just like a little bit, which I didn't even know. Like, I had irritation, because it's possible that I could have had some silent reflux back before I took the medication and maybe didn't even know that I had it. It's very possible. But she said my stomach, like, everything in my stomach was completely normal. So, I mean, that was really good to hear, but it just kind of blew me away a little bit. So anyways, that's it. That's my story. That was my endoscopy story. It was honestly easy easy breezy. Like, it was a cakewalk. I don't know. It was super easy. And I spent all that time stressing for nothing. So I hope that you guys don't spend your time stressed out like I did for nothing, because it's really not bad, you guys. It's super fast and over before you know it. Like, you don't even know. You don't know when you go to sleep. But it was one of my biggest fears. So I'm really proud of myself for conquering that, because there were so many times that I wanted to pick up the phone and cancel the appointment because I was so scared of getting put to sleep. But I did it. And now that I've done it, I probably wouldn't be as scared to do it again, even though, like, hope to God I don't have to do it again. But, you know, okay, you never know what's going to happen in life, or if you might have to get a surgery. My husband's had like probably 15 surgeries, not even kidding. He's had a lot, so he's been through that like so many times that it doesn't even faze him. But I just want you guys to know that you don't have to be scared, and hopefully your staff will be as good as my staff was. I gave them an A+. I thought they did excellent. They really did comfort me, because because of COVID, I wasn't allowed to have anybody come in with me, which kind of escalated my anxiety even more. But I was just proud of myself for going and doing it and getting it done and actually getting a diagnosis, as opposed to just guessing what's wrong with me. So, if you didn't watch part 1, a lot of my mildest, as she called it, the most mild kind you can have, which is a good thing in my case, of gastritis and some I can't say that word, esophagus irritation, like the most mildest kind you can have. And she said that alcohol can definitely be a culprit for causing all those things. And like I was explaining in part 1, I think a lot of it in my case seemed to always happen after I drank alcohol, and that is why I'm no longer going to be drinking alcohol, and I want to fully get 100% better. And I don't also want to go back. So I want to change my diet and just be a healthier person as well. So that is something I'm working on as well. Eating more whole foods and whole grains and stuff like that. And I've honestly had more energy since I've done this diet the last 2 weeks than I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It's because I'm eating more wholer foods and healthier foods. And I'm not eating all that refined, processed junk that just... honestly, yeah, it tastes good because I grew up eating that way a lot of the times. The American diet, it tastes good, but it's really not doing you any good at all for your nutrition or just the way that you feel. I feel like just switching to healthier foods, I felt like I have so much energy. Like, I don't feel like I wouldn't even need coffee. I do miss the taste of it though. I'm not gonna lie. I miss the taste of coffee. And maybe one day I'll get to have some again, but I also found out that coffee depletes your stomach acid as well. So it's not really that good for you, unfortunately. But the celery juice, guys, if you need some energy, do 16 ounces of celery juice every morning on an empty stomach. It gave me a lot of energy, and I've been doing it for 14 days. I'm not going to stop anytime soon because I like the results that I'm getting with that, and it's also helping my stomach and all that as well. So that's my story. I hope that you guys like these 2 videos, and thank you guys so much for listening. And I'm sorry to have made this into 2 videos, but I honestly just wanted to explain everything to anybody watching my video, and I hope I didn't miss anything. I'll let you guys know, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love interacting with you guys, and when everyone else leaves their experience, then somebody else can not feel so alone. And I hope that this video has helped somebody maybe feel less afraid for their upcoming endoscopy. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in any of my kind of content that I do. I do vlogs, cleaning, sometimes cooking, lifestyle related content, and I just try to be as real as I can be and honest all the time. I don't ever want to come on camera and lie about anything, so that just is a little background about what I do here. But if that interests you, be sure to hit that subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.